Welcome back to our channel. Today we will talk about the topic that we already discussed in the German channel, but I want to bring it here to the international audience as well. We will talk about watches that are fairly priced or even undervalued, underrated. And now I will not start with very niche watches. I will talk about big brands that have still some models left that you can get, I wouldn't say blindly, and you always know that you can sell them again if you ever want to or if you ever need to sell them. And we will start with a brand and a model that a lot of people would say this is not a secret, it's very well known, but still the S&P 300, basically the Seamaster Professional 300, is one of the watches that I would consider is an easy buy, because you always know that you will get the money if you need to sell it, you don't lose too much on it, and you can always find someone who is interested in purchasing one. I think one of the factors why it is like this is that the Seamaster is, if you look at Omega, it is, I would say, one of the watches that a beginner would always get. So coming in the watch game, you will always start with a Seamaster or a Speedmaster Reduced, for example, which is also an example, but I will not talk about this too much. But the Seamaster is also, technologically speaking, from a technological viewpoint, interesting, because in the newer ones, you have the coaxial movement, you have a very, very good in-house movement. You have a very high quality watch, ceramic bezel. The engraved dial is also a very nice thing to have. So you get a lot of detail, a lot of quality and craftsmanship in a relatively cheap watch. You can get it for under 4,000 euros. And I'm now speaking only about the diver, about the S&P 300, not about other Seamasters, for example, the Aquaterra or, for example, the Planet Ocean. In these models, you will always have the one or other reference that is also very stable in the market where you can always buy it. But for the Seamaster 300, I can speak for every model there is. Also about the vintage pieces. For example, if you take the Pierce Brosnan, the vintage Seamaster with the blue bezel, blue dial, you have a very, very nice watch, a classic watch for a relatively small price, under 3,000 euros. I think you can get it still with box and papers in a good condition. For me, this is a very good thing to have, because even though it's very popular, you can always get rid of it if you need to or if you want to. You still don't have to overpay it like you would, for example, for some very, very popular models, especially with the newer ones. For example, the new Rolex, the new GMT-Master, you will always have to spend a little bit more to get it, and with the Omega Seamaster you don't have this. And then I will proceed with a brand and model that is, I would say, a little bit less known, the JLC Master Control. And the Master Control is a model that you can get their older models from the 2000s and also newer models from like a few years ago. Each one of them, you can sell them easily if you want to, if you need to. The thing with the Master Control is you have to find a client, you have to find someone who is really interested, because it's not a watch that somebody would take as his first watch mostly, but still, if you have it for a fair price, you can always sell it. For example, if we buy one, the Master Controls are mostly sold within 2-3 weeks maximum, but you always need to keep the price, let's say, on the conservative side. So you cannot buy it blindly as the Seamaster, for example, but still I believe that this is a model that in the future can rise in the price, because it's still fairly priced. For you can get them for around 4,000 euros. You have very nice movements, they are very thin, very elegant, you can wear them for good occasions as well. So I think if people have 2 or 3 watches already, they mostly go to one of the Master Controls just to have, let's say, an exclusive choice as well in their collection. We're talking about mostly about the early models from the 2010, I would say, but the newer ones, you can get them for around 7,000 euros. They are also very interesting because still you get a lot of watch for a relatively small price. JLC is known for their movements. They make movements for, I would say, most of the big brands like Patek, Philippe, for Audemars Piguet, and this is something that you cannot forget, that you cannot get it get rid of if you're talking about the history of mechanical watches. And this is why I would consider it a little bit of an inside tip, or let's say an undervalued watch. Then to proceed with another brand that most people would think that there are no hidden gems anymore is Patek Philippe, actually, because if you want to get one, if you want to get the quality, the name on your wrist, then you need to spend a lot of money mostly. But this doesn't count for the vintage Ellipse models. We sell them extremely good, extremely fast, also because we are always fair with our pricing. But if you get one in your hands, you can get them for under 10,000 euros in gold. They're mostly white gold or yellow gold, and you can get them for under 10,000 euros without papers, of course. With papers, you need to pay, say, around between 10 and 11,000. That's, I would say, a good price, and you get a very nice movement. The watch is extremely thin. It fits, I would say, every wrist. Even the smaller models look good also on, let's say, average wrists as well, and slightly above average wrist sizes. And the Ellipse is a watch that, in my opinion, is absolutely undervalued. Especially if you look at the current models, you need to pay around 30 to 35,000 euros, and you get the exact same design that you already had like 30-40 years ago. And that is not a bad thing. That the design didn't change is a good sign, because things that are timeless, for example, the Nautilus, the Aquanaut, the GMT-Master from Rolex, those are models that exist for a long time now, and they will always be popular. And I think this is also the case for the Ellipse, and you can get them for a fairly low price. Another model that is, in my opinion, a little bit undervalued because of the high list price and the high demand for this specific model is the Alpine Eagle. And the thing with the Alpine Eagle is, in the past the price fell a little bit. They were sold for around 12,000-13,000 euros, and the list price went up. What happened on the secondary market with the higher amounts of watches handed out by Chopard, the value or the secondary market fell a little bit. And now we are at the level of around 10,000 euros, a little bit below that for the blue dial, a little bit above that for the gray one, for example. And now it is a watch that we sell fairly good, because I would say that if you compare the list price of almost 16,000 euros, then you have still a lot of watch, a lot of value for the money that you spent. For 9.5, 10,000 euros, you get a beautiful watch with warranty, with a beautiful set. And that is why, in my opinion, the Alpine Eagle is a little bit undervalued. And I believe that in the long term, you will not get an Alpine Eagle for under 10,000 euros for a long time. So in my opinion, also an underrated watch, and also a watch that I would personally, of course, wear. So this is the last one before we switch completely to Rolex, which will be a surprise for some people, because most people think that there are no fair value Rolex models anymore. But I would argue that there are a few ones that you can still get for a good price, very good price, and they are extremely popular, even though they are not considered so popular in the market. So let's start with, for me, one of the best starter watches, the Explorer in 36 millimeters. The 39 millimeters is also very popular, and I would consider it also a little bit undervalued, but 36 millimeters for me is a must-have. You get it for under 5,000 euros sometimes without papers, and the old reference, the 14 to 70. If you want to get a newer one, a more massive, more robust one, then you have to get the 11.4 270, and this one you can get it for under 6,000 euros. And the thing is that you get it for a better or cheaper price than you would get a Datejust. And most people, they go for the Datejust instead, because it's the more obvious choice, the, I would say, more popular one that everybody knows, everybody has or starts their collection with a Datejust, but only a few people start with an Explorer. That's why I believe that the prices are relatively low. But I believe that now that the new 36mm, the 12.4 270 came out and it's very popular, I believe that the prices might go up again. So if you want to get one, if you want to wear an Explorer, a classic one, then this is the time to get it. Another one that is also undervalued is also Rolex, of course, as I said, and I would say the GMT-Master II, the black one, the completely black one with the green writing on the dial with the reference 116710 LN. And this watch is for us one of the most popular ones because as soon as you have one, you sell it. We rarely have one for over a week in the store because a lot of people, when they start their upper level Rolex game, they will go for a Submariner probably, or some of them go crazy and go for the Batman, Batgirl or whatever. But most people, they prefer to keep it simple, keep it relatively low in the price, and therefore go for the GMT-Master black on black. And that thing is amazingly simple. So you can combine it with everything. You get a lot of value for the price. You get it for, if I'm correct, under 11,000. You can get them already in a very, very good condition with box and papers. So to sum it up, the GMT-Master II, the black one, is one of the watches that I see on the market as one of the best price value one that you can get. And there's also a last one that I want to talk about. That one is a little bit more popular, I would say, that a lot of people are searching for, and this is Explorer 2 with the 11 reference, like the 116570. And this one is, if you get it in white in a beautiful condition with a good set, then you can always sell it for a good price. So basically a watch that I don't believe will rise in price in the near future, but at least if you buy it, if you want to buy something that not everybody has, because the Explorer 2 is also one of the sports models that you don't see that commonly, then I believe that this might be the perfect choice. And this goes for both dials, for the black one and the white one. The white one is a little bit more popular, yes, correct, but the black one you can get it for a better price. So this is, in the end, for me, this wouldn't make it too big of a difference in the end. So that's it for today. If you like this video, then I would like to ask you to give us a thumbs up, a like. If you know someone who is interested in watches, then you can recommend our channel. Of course, we would be very happy to expand the international community. And if you have any addition to that list, if you have any brands or models or specific references that are, in your opinion, undervalued, then write it down in the comment and let's have a discussion. See you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.